because Iku, continue. Iku is death. Iku is death. And death, when death was created, it, unlike all the other deities on the spirit world, death knew that it's going to be feeding on human that God created also. And all living, all entities that live, death was happy to that was made by Eledumare. And Orunmila, who was a witness to destiny, is the only one that was able to spy on Eledumare. He spied on Eledumare and was able to know the secret when Eledumare allowed him to know. We will find out in Iworimeji later in now the Odus how Orunmila was able to fight, what he did, all the offerings he did, it's more like you give something to receive. What he gave to be able to receive the opportunity to know that secret. And once he was able to find that secret, Eledumare allowed him so that he can be witness to everything that he did in the spirit world. So I think, if you excuse me, I want to move from here because the noise there is disturbing me. My people make a lot of noise, and you are in Ayo. Ayo. Come and bring this table. I'll take my chair. I'm going to go more in the forest. Somewhere that we can. This is better. And my phone has even better reception. I have better reception here. It's not going to be dropping, like always cutting off. Anyways, Orunmila was able to learn the secret of how to overcome death. Once he knows the secret, and now he was able to teach it to even the divinities and humans, how to overcome it. And the same offering is what we give when we use it a lot and it works. If Oyeku Meji comes for a person in divination or a sick person, we say death is lurking around, because sickness is the wife of death, and a wife must provide for their husband. So we will make the offering of match yam with pebbles, and we all give it to Eshu. Eshu help turns whatever is afflicting the people around. Also, if sickness does not kill a person, the mothers of the night can afflict a person or want negativity for a person. Offerings to the mothers of the night also helps overcomes death. Some divinities like Ogun, Shango, also offerings to them help overcome death, because they are actually the principal agents of bringing humans to death. Now, Oyeku Meji did many things on earth as the king of all the Odus. It was later that Ejiogbe was able to come and become the king. Later, Ejiogbe came and become the king. And in the Ejiogbe, we found out how he was able to do that. He was the youngest of all the Odus. All the other ones are even older than him, but he ended up being the elder That is why in the Yoruba tradition, sometimes a young person is allowed, even in Oturameji, a young person took over governorship of a land or the leadership of a land from the elders. Oyekumeji is the eldest of all the Odus. And a person who will cast Oyekumeji if they overcome death, they are going to live to be very old. In this Odu is where Orunmila revealed to us how the duplicity. Oyekumeji is duplicity. Although most of the Odus are in duplicity, but Oyekumeji also comes in blessings. It does not only, because his name sounds like death, it doesn't mean it's all about death. When we cast Oyekumeji for somebody and it comes in Ire, we will say the person is going to be receiving in multiples. Because it's the same Odu that came for the children of the fish, where the fish becomes very many. In the principles of Ifa is this. I always say it is better not to go to Ifa, go to Orunmila to ask Ifa about any specific issue, than to go there and find out and not make offerings. Issue is very unforgiving about that. That is why it is non-failing. It doesn't fail. Once offering is given to issue, we must receive what we are asking for. Issue is always forgiving. That's why issue is not the devil. The divinities, Oyekumeji is also revealed to us that all the divinities themselves did not recognize issue, because God did not create issue. Eledumare did not create issue. Issue was already existing. Issue was existing in Orima when God created the universe. Unlike how the other religions have making us to feel like Issue is a devil, Issue is not Satan, Issue is not Lucifer. Satan, Lucifer, devil, all those things are angels of negativity. Issue is full of positive and negativity. It's a very benevolent deity, but non-forgiving. So Orunmila, who understand him, when he was coming to earth, he went for divination. All the divinities were coming to earth. Oligun is where they stop. When we see that in Ogunda, Ogbe Yonu is the Odu that talks about the creation of the earth in Ogbe Yonu. When the divinities were coming to populate the earth, Ogbe Yonu talks about it. They are coming to populate the earth, and Orunmila is already gone for divination, and he was already told that it's going to be raining. Like for 16 years, it rained when the divinities were coming. Orunmila he was told not to stop for the rain. In Oyekumeji, we learn how Orunmila never did stop for the rain. As they were descending from the spirit world onto earth at Oligun, all the other deities were hiding. They hid for the rain, took shelter. But Orunmila, listening to the words of Ifa, he did not. He's already made his offering to Eshu. Eshu unleashes the water of the heavens, and it rained for 16 years. He continued on along the way till he met his children who are already here. In this Odu is how we know that a person who has the Odu or Oyekumeji does not mean death. If the proper offerings, when a person goes to the forest of Odu, full initiation, and Oyekumeji comes, it doesn't mean that person is going to die. It means that person is going to live long, is going to be prosperous, have many children, just like the fishes, and have lots of prosperity. Nobody receive Ifa and lack. We must not lack. At the long run, according to how my Oluwo, Baba Museson Arikawe, may the Lord God rest him in, may the Ajagumole Oluwo Ode Orun continue to harbor him in the spirit world, because we believe if you are a priest of Ifa on earth, you are going to be. If you are initiated as they do on earth, so they do in the spirit world. If you are initiated on this earth, you will be initiated in the spirit world, which is even makes it better. Now, my Oluwo always say, as they do on earth, so they do in the spirit world. A person who receives prosperity and knows they are Odu or full initiation of Igbodu here will also receive prosperity in the spirit world. Because it's only here that we have material things that we gather to say, okay, we have this physical. In the spirit world, there's no physical. We don't need anything. Everything is added on, always added on in multiples. In Oyekumeji, we learn that the deities, all of them were hiding for the rain. Orunmila continued on. And when he came with Oja, which is the market, and Aje, that's prosperity. Orunmila married Aje, Oyekumeji married Aje and Oja, and they have many children for him. And those are his first disciples, first people that he had to be his companion, because all the other deities were hiding. Orunmila's children and his own family went looking for the deities after and called them to come after they catch up to them. And the deities decided, no. They said, no, we are comfortable where we are, because they despise Orunmila himself. So as a priest of Ifa, do not mind that a person who just knows the Orisha only will always do things to make sure there's some form of, what do you call it? There is some form of what do you call it? To despise somebody, to always be against, which is what is experienced in the diaspora at the beginning of time, because I believe when Ifa comes to Cuba and the diaspora, people are not, a person who is come without clothes on, how can they have a king with them? But they can have the Orisha in their mind. They can have the Orisha in their head. But the king of Ifa that will actually talk when it's casted can never be carried as part of their belongings. They have no belongings, but it is in their mind. So our belief is that those who follow the Orishas are the first to be in the diaspora, and those who follow Ifa came a little later. So those who follow the Orisha, if they have already been doing it this way, and Ifa, who now is all-knowing, now comes in, people might be like, oh, no, we have been doing it this way. We are not going to do it that way, because we are used to doing it this way. A good example, if we are supposed to put palm oil in an offering for the mothers, and we are supposed to put salt. We put palm oil and salt in an offering for the mothers of the night. The significance is different from putting olive oil. It's different, because the palm oil has significance. Both palm oil and salt are what Efun is, what can I call it? Efun will be, it's a form of negativity that pushes an entity all the way, pushes the entity and drives an entity till the entity totally extinguished in negativity. That's Efun. Not to be confused with Ofun. Ofun is the name of the Odu, which is the the last in the Yoruba, in other certain Yoruba genealogy of listing the Odus. In our land, Ofun is like the second to the last. Ika is the last. Eka is the last one in Kaleland and in Benin. While Ofun is the, but Efun, not Efun. Efun is the Kaolin, but Ofun is something that squeezes, that pushes and push things into the point of it's a form of negativity. And AD, both of them. There's an incantation that says Efun Omola Gogo Ide AD. Omola Gbede Oje. Efun is the child of the brass bell. AD is the child of the blacksmith of Oje. Oje will be lead. The blacksmith that forges lead. Both Ofun and AD are two forms of negativity that the mothers strive on to use to propagate negativity on this earth. Well, this is a part of our Yekumejo, so that when we use palm oil, and we use salt as offering, because Efun is taboo. In Oyekumeji, we were told to use taboo of specific deities or specific divinities or entities to really have them succumb. That's why Ifa is magic. What is taboo for them, you give it to them, then you prevent them to further cause issues in one's life. Palm oil and salt are taboos of Efun and AD. And we put it in the offerings for the mothers, so that the mothers will allow, they must have compassion. The palm oil, when the palm oil sees the sun, what does it do? It melts. You know, we have palm oil, some palm oil, we have it in Canada. If it has a little bit of water in it from where they've made it, it will always be like thick. We call it sleeping. It falls asleep in the cold environment. But when you resist the sun or heat, it will melt. There is significance in putting palm oil in offerings that for the deities that can take it, which are Ogun, Ifa, Orunmila takes palm oil, Oya takes palm oil, Eshu takes palm oil. Those are taboos from certain deities, like Obatala is so despised. Oluweri so despised. Olokun so despised, because pureness is for Olokun. Obatala, pureness is for Obatala, all in white. All white is the white deity. So things that we tarnish, you put it, they don't go near.
Baba, sorry.
Yes.
In the book, it's speaking to that point. I don't mean to interrupt, but it says Oja is Olokun. In
Oja.
Yeah.
Oja.
So
Oja. Yeah.
Market.
Oja. Market.
But is it
a market? Market.
Okay.
It's market. Oja is market, but it describes Oja as Olokun, because normally you will not call Olokun Oja in the modern. Those are old language, which we in today's term turn it into where money is created, which is a market. You go anywhere where that's where you find money in abundance. Inside the market is where it's like saying, you know, the author puts Oja in bracket there, so Olokun truly is Oja in the old language. If you call Oja Olokun today, people will look at you kind of, funny, they will look at you funny because Oja means market. And the markets, like, unlike, okay, maybe Kensington Market can be a little replica of what market should be. Because in a market will be a massive amount of space, of land, maybe 5 to 10 blocks of houses set aside and say that's where we are going to be trading. Everybody bring yam, bring salt, bring pepper, bring, you know, Isheshe is old. It is old. It is far, far beyond. It is, I mean, we are talking before modernization of, now you have to build shops and say it's inside a shop that's a market, or inside a supermarket where, like Loblaws, you say that's a market. To us now, Loblaws like market, or superstore, or whatever they call it, the yellow stores, or Safeway. Oja means market and also means Olokun, because Olokun is the father of prosperity. Father of prosperity. And father of prosperity is where all prosperity, I mean, it holds all prosperity and holds all secrets. Do you know, is when we, you know, in the tradition, when we read these things or we heard this thing, we must be with the open mind to think, okay, it means this according to this person. If I heard it this way, it can also mean the same thing that you heard. The other way. Some people will say Olokun is a man, and others will say Olokun is a woman. Meanwhile, in my land, we go deep and we say the mermaids, they can be both man and woman, mermaids, and they are inside the sea. In the diaspora, you will say the mermaids are like Yemoja. You can say Yemoja is like a mermaid, but Yemoja is the goddess of a river here in Nigeria, whereas in Trinidad, Yemoja, we mean the sea. We go to the sea for Yemoja. When we refer to Olokun in my land here, Oshun, Yemoja, Oluweri, Oluweri, which is the deities of the waters, which are many. Yewa, even surrounding me here, I have at least 8 of them just where I am. I can count 8 different deities of the water, all surrounding me, because we are right on top of the springs where the water spring from. And there are stories we heard. We hear stories of what happened while the people are still praying to them today in this part of the land, what they have done, which spread all across Yoruba land, because it's the civilization of all Africans. The history take us back there. So through the wordings, through the words of Orunmila, through the words of Ifa, we are able to find meaning into this general and vast wisdom that is so vast that we can truly break it down and have little meaning to it. And which is exactly what we are doing today, trying to find meaning to all this wisdom, to all this knowledge, so that we can apply it a little bit in our life and make changes where changes is due, when it's necessary, when it's needed. Now, the reason why those deities, when the deities decide they are staying, the divinities stay indoors, and Orunmila is the only one that came out because they are afraid of the rain. They are worried about the rain. This ought to reveal to us that children of Oyekumeji they must go about in the rain. They must not hide for the rain. Certain Odu, sometimes when it comes out for us, Orunmila will say, it happened to me many times, like, oh, this year, you can walk in the rain. Another year, I will say, oh, do not let your children and yourself play. When the rain is about to come, stay out of the rain. Because Shango, you know, the Odu that had to deal with Shango goes with rain. Lightning strikes, and it strikes a lot in my land here. When it rains, you will hear it. And the people who do wrong, Shango can go straight into their house and dig them out if they've done terrible things. If you have strong medicine that that people use to do negativity to people, that's when Shango goes and attack and brings the medicine out and kill the person. And the person that is killed by that, they take them into the forest. It's very prominent here. It's here in my land. That is why many people run from and say, oh, bad religion, bad, because they've turned it to religion. Many are running away from, when they do wrong, they run away. Only those who are pure. Those who are pure are those who can practice the traditional religion in Africa. If you are not pure, they run from it because the deities will not look twice to actually afflict the person who is praying to it. And there is a share there. Please believe it, that there is a share in what we call just putting a glass of water by your shrine and say you're giving it to Oshun. There is a share there. Believe it. Because we try it, we used it, we do it. We put just ordinary water right there and we will give it to people and they will heal. He said they have stomach upset. I will take Ifa water that I used to clean my ikin. I save some of it and keep it over the year. Every year, I always have new bottles. I have many. So somebody is mounting and they are not coming down. We will take some of the water and we rub it on their face. They will come down because people that have Ifa does not mount. So ordinary water is what Olokun will use, is what Oshun will use to heal. And there's power in it. So the more we practice and do our prayers and do our offerings, the more we get power. Because there's power in our word of our mouth. You have a share in the mouth. The share of the sun is what it used to. The sun has a share and it used to spread all around the earth and hit the earth. The same share is what the rain have in Oyekumeji, because he offered cordial. The same cordial is what he should put in his hand that he used to beat everybody, king and chiefs and children and elders. Everybody run out of the rain because the droplet of the rain, apart from getting soaked, the droplets sometimes hits the body in a way that makes you like, I have to run out of the rain. The deities that run out of the rain in those days are the ones that are outside today. If I go around now, where are the Oluwaye is out there in the back of my house. Ogun is back there. Eshu is back there. What other deities are there? 1, 2, 3. Babaji is inside. Egungun is in the back of the house at the Odogbale. Oluweri is inside. Olokun is inside. Obatala, Orishas are inside. Orisha Agbaye is outside because it's around the world and it takes blood. But Orishara is inside. Orisha is inside. Olokun is inside. But most of the deities are outside because they refuse to go in. Now, Oyekumeji says he helped humans to solve the problem of death. Oyekumeji also helped to ignite fire. He taught that praying to Ori of Olobara, which is the fire. In the Odus, when Irosumeji is when rain, the sun, and fire, the clouds, they were all chasing to marry Ekupayemi. It was the rain that ended up marrying her because of her coolness. And fire, the rain beat fire and fire ran into the rocks. Inside the rock, when it's inside the rocks, it was there dormant. It cannot be used. It was Orunmila that helped fire to regain. We have it in Ogbe Iwori. Iwori Ogbe. Fire only prayed to his head with his brother, and then he regained power. In Oyekumeji, fire also regained power by praying, making offering, and he regains his power back in Oyekumeji. Oyekumeji becomes the elder of the king of the night, because elders will do. Oyekumeji did help us overcome death. I said, when Oyekumeji was a little child, coming from the spirit world, chose father, he chose his mother. For the mother who has come to earth and does not want children, this just because of she has power, things she can control. If she has like her husband, she will want a family with the husband. She must not like the husband because of the power that she has. Oyekumeji has already chose the destiny has already linked. Oyekumeji's destiny has already linked with his father and linked with his mother. But the mother has the power to go and be with the knights. So sometimes when we cast and we see that Odu, and the person has come to us to say, oh, I'm looking for a child. It's been a while now, I've been married. We're trying and we can't have a child. If it is a woman and we cast and we see Oyekumeji, we will say she's the one that's causing it herself. We don't have to tell her that we know she has the power, but we'll say sometimes people have the power and they still with the come to Awo saying they have this issue. Meanwhile, they are the one causing it themselves. But we as an Awo we're not going to break down because people who has power will fight you. Awo will never survive if everything that you see is what you exposed. You cannot expose it. A person can come and they are the one causing their issue and they still say they want it solved. So that's why they call the father of secrets. Everything we see, everything we know is not what you are going to tell them. You can say, oh yeah, we can help you. You're going to do this. We're going to do it this way. It is the head of Python that Orunmila recommended that the husband of this woman will use to pray to Izifa, and his wife will be able to have a child, because we find out the wife is the one causing it so that she will not have a child. You know, people have Egbe. In Egbe, a person who has Egbe will be struggling in life. Meanwhile, they are make pact with their own Egbe, their mate. Egbe means mate in the spirit world, to be doing certain things on this earth that actually pull their progress back. They do. So when we find out, we know we want to remove it. In my land, we remove Egbe. We don't celebrate Egbe. Egbe and Ogba. We try to use, Ifa, we use medicine, we use Babaji and Osai, herbs, Omiero, plants. And there are certain things we must do because they will fight back. Even though they agree, they say, okay, we say you have to take this bath, you have to do it, you have to wash your negativity off your head so that you'll be able to have a husband, or you'll be able to have a children, or you'll be able to accomplish your destiny. Meanwhile, they are the one causing it themselves. They already signed a pact that a person signed a pact and said, the day I met a husband is when I'm going to marry, I'm not marrying, I'm coming back to the spiritual world. They die before they marry. When somebody is about to marry them. Some, when they're about to have children, they die. Some, they die when good things is happening in their life. In the same way, my people have been able to try to find out why they are Abiku by testing, putting a sign or a mark on a body that passed on, buried it as a child, and then come back again. When the woman get pregnant, the mother get pregnant again, the mark will be on the next baby. Then they identify and say, oh, these are Abiku. So things must be done to prevent them from coming again. So hence the name like Kokuma, Maloma, do not go again. She are not dying again. And they give them a name and give them and they will tie them down on earth. They already know that this child is already one that's born to die. So we're going to tie them on earth because they have mate in the spirit world and try to sever their relationship with the mates so that they can live a fully fulfilled life on earth. Because it's painful when your children die. Some, they've already get really old before they die. Once Ifa is already shown us, or Yekumeji already show us the secret to overcome death, then we have some ways to really curb death taking us. One thing we find out from Oyekumeji here is that he cleared it to us that death is actually a very death is wimpy. Death is scary. Somebody is calling me, but I cannot make that call, and I will call back later. It's also in Canada, from Canada. Anyways. Scare, that you scare us. I know it helps, just like all the odus, they are supposed to bring enlightenment to us, give us the secret to life, give us better understanding life. There brings enlightenment brings prosperity, bring new thing. When I see Oyekumeji and it comes in Ire, I will tell the person there's going to be a major change in a person's life. That what do you think is not enough before will suddenly become so enough that you will know that yes, the significant thing has happened, change has happened in one's life. So pay attention to Oyekumeji. Oyekumeji also talked about Jewesun, let the plants sleep, which is we trying to call Jesu in my language. They call it Jesu. It talks about Jesus Christ. Odo Aguntan, the young lamb. That is very, very favored by Eledumare. Eledumare favored him, but he doesn't accomplish destiny by not, just like the deities, all the other deities do. When they don't recognize Eshu, he said Eshu is who is coming to fight on earth. He cannot give offerings to him. The mother came later to give the offering, but it was too late because he's already leaving. And if we cast for a new baby, if a new baby is born, and we have to do Ifa for the child to look at the footpath that they have brought to this earth for their destiny. If Oyekumeji showed, we will tell the parents that this child will be prosperous. This child, for them to be prosperous, they must live a long life, because the person who live long on earth are the ones that are going to receive the blessings of the earth. That's the principle. If you don't live long, you will not, because we always use positive mouth to interpret Ifa. We cannot say, this child is going to die unless you do. No. We say this child is going to live long if we do this specific part of Ifa for the child. This child, so that the child can accomplish their destiny and not have some person who is subordinate to them kill them off or waste them off or waste their life. That we must do on Ifa that is appropriate for the person, so that the child will have a long life and be prosperous. From all this, me Oye, I am Oye, you are Oye. Oye is just coming up in the skies. The whole world think it is just daybreak, that the morning is coming. the daybreak. It was just daybreak as the sun is coming. Emi oye wo oye. Oye shen la bo loke. Amara ise bojumo lo mo. Adifefeja tin shomolubu is the one that divine for the children, divine for the fish, who is the child of the owner of the deep sea. The owner of the deep sea make offering, fish make offering in those days, and they were able to come in thousands and multiples. So, fish is an odu, that a person is an entity that receive the blessings of the wisdom of Oyekumeji in one of the odus, as one of the odus. It will not be, most of the odus in another format, in another story, you will still find that odu again in other parts of the other disciples of Orunmila talked about an entity in a different way that complement each other. So hence we'll find the odus in the odus where that explains how certain entity becomes this, and in another form, it will also explain how it becomes that with a different form of a story in another odu, because they are, for example, Oyekumeji, I already said, Oyekumeji now gave birth to Oyeku Ogbe, which is the father of the Amulu. Oyeku Yilogbe. You see Oyeku Iwori, Oyeku Edi, Oyeku Idi, Oyeku Idi. When Oyeku Idi comes with, if it's a man that is having, we will ask them if they're having issues with their manhood. Like, are they having problem? So they have to watch what they eat. They have to watch how they are living their life so that they can maintain their libido till their dying days. Offering must be done. Sacrifice must be done, or Yakudi, that they are going to start becoming frail from their manhood on. So, Oyeku, Edi, Oyeku, Obara, Oyeku, Okono, Oyeku, and then all the ways, because Oyeku Meji is the one that gave birth to all the other Odus. Hence, they need to be vast in the stories to be able to use them to solve people's issues. If we don't know the story, then we ask somebody. Imagine in a land where most of the elders they cannot read and write, we have to memorize it. Some people have tendency not to know it all if they are not good at it, and they just mix up the odus and they cause issues for people. But in the modern world where we have access to this type of information, then we can truly study it and know it even further to be able to use to solve issues on this earth. Because an elder that wrote this book gathered it from many elders. Not, maybe somebody might know 2 or 3, might know 5 or 6, whereas some people knows 10 and 12 of one Odu, and know only 2 of another, and know none of one specific one. We don't know it at all, or they don't come to your mind, then you're gonna call another elder and say, this is what Odu came, Baba, what do you say? And that's why in our land, why many people always gather when they do Ifa. We have more than, you have 5 or 6, we have 8 or 10 different hours. They will pray, they will recite the Odu, and then the officiating hour, which is Akonogma, will choose the offering and just tone it down. But the person who we are casting for is already heard all the different stories, and has already heard all the different taboos that comes with the Odu, so that one can live their life to the fullest, you know. But when they should receive his offering, once the deity receive their offering, they manifest. They just do. That is why we say Ifa is a fail proof. It doesn't fail if we do it right. You make a boy, you make sacrifice, it does not fail. Ọ̀yẹ̀kú méjì.
Ashe.
Ọ̀yẹ̀kú méjì. When this Odu come from a pregnant woman, the child will surely be a girl. Ọ̀yẹ̀kú méjì can determine a girl is being born or not. Ọ̀yẹ̀kú méjì, ìdáǹpẹ̀ ní Adénímí. Ọ̀yẹ̀kú asked his followers, who has a plump and stout physique? They replied, it is Ejiogbe. He answered, Ejiogbe is tall but thin. The dialogue continued on the 4 other Olodus, one each for Ọ̀yẹ̀kú. For each one, Ọ̀yẹ̀kú replied, Iwori has a big head and fat legs, but tiny abdomen. Edi has small head, tiny legs, but pot belly. All these Odus is referring to the markings. See how we mark it. When you look at the Ejiogbe, it's thin, all long. It's also all one, all the way. It's all the long hand that extend from the earth to the spirit world. You look at Ọ̀yẹ̀kú méjì, it's all fat from the top to the bottom. We look at Iwori méjì. Iwori has a big head because it has 2 on top, fat legs with tiny body, thin in the middle and fat in the bottom. That's 2 on top, 1 in the middle, 1 next to it, and then 2 in it. So it's referring to the markings of the Odus. And when you can look at it, you see Ọ̀yẹ̀kú méjì revealed that there was no other Olodu that has symmetrical physique from head to. So it's Ọ̀yẹ̀kú méjì is very streamlined Odu, and is the father of Odu. Iwori méjì, Olure Ejikoko Iwori, is the one that tells us to totally dedicate ourselves. I've just touched a little bit on Iwori méjì before we go to our questions, so that we can study that in our next class. Iwori méjì is the one that tell us that brings all prosperity to Awo. Iwori méjì Olure, or it brings all blessings to Anawo. Iwori méjì is the 3rd of all the Odus. It is the beginning of conspiracy on earth. The Odu tells us about conspiracy, because when he was coming to earth, the first Odu that I learned about Iwori méjì was Gbalakunko. Gbalakunko, Ìpàkọ́ Egun, ó jẹ ẹrù àáké bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ò ṣe lagi. He said Gbalakunko, the head of the vulture looks like that of an axe, but cannot split it a log. Is the diviner that divined for Iwori méjì when Iwori méjì was coming to earth. Iwori méjì, when he was coming, he went to the head of a vulture, resembles an axe, but cannot split a log. And this Awo told Iwori méjì, when they cast the Odu Iwori méjì come, and he told Iwori méjì and said, all your siblings, all your brothers, they don't want you to come. They don't want you to be with them. He says they want to chase you away from them, that you will not sit among them. But this is the offering you are going to give to Eshu. You give a mortar to Eshu. The mortar is what we use to pound yam. It says you will make an incantation that says Odo. We call mortar Odo. Odo means settled. He said Odo said the mortar said I will have a place to settle. When we pound the mortar here, you can hear it all around, and it doesn't move from one spot. He said you will have impact everywhere. Nobody is going, you are not going to move from one spot. People will hear you from everywhere. He says Tete is a type of a Ifa plant. It says you will have a place to step. Odoni Maribidu Tete Maribite. Igbegbe says where Igbegbe is another plant. I wish I could find it here. Igbegbe. I'm sitting around the plants. See Igbegbe plant. Anyways, Igbegbe said you have a place to Bumbo. Baba. I have some guests, but we'll continue on 30 minutes. They come to visit. Anyways, Iwori méjì talks about a person that is destined to be chased away, but we overcome those who are trying to chase him away. Even the Koriko is the hyena. The hyena. If I talked about hyena that was in the Iworimeji, that they were trying to chase hyena from the community, and hyena came back and become the king of that same community. Anyways, we will most of our questions will dwell on Oyekumeji and any other questions that you want to know about. I will leave the rest to question period.
I do have a question.
To mention one thing, let me mention one thing. When we have to be understanding the names of the Oduo. Once the name, you must understand the full meaning of the name. For example, Ejiogbe. Ogbe means support. Eji means two. It means supporting two. That you will get support, even though there are even more concrete meaning to it. But the literary meaning of the name of the Odu is very important in the interpretation of it. Look at Oyeku now. Oyeku means to displace death. Iku is death. Oye. Oye means push away. Ye means to make fall, to make to drop, to make to not continue, to make to not grow. So if something is standing up and you push, you slide it away, it's going to drop to the ground. Oh yeah, that sliding away death. We look at Iwori. To look at death. Ori is there. Iwo means look at, pay attention to. Pay attention to the Iwori. It's one of the Odus that will tell us a lot about praying to our head. In most of the Odu, in the combinations, we will talk, that one will, when we get to that, we will talk more about that one. Iwori. Look at head. Iwori. Wo. Ori. So it is important with the names. You can try and research breaking the word down. If you break the word down, then you can find a better meaning to the word that combine to the sentence, to the letters that combine to make the word. Then we can get the full meaning of it, hence better interpretation of that specific name. Okay.
2 questions.
Okay, go ahead.
So you spoke about Oye, but so
yes.
So when someone is given the title of Oloye, is that
Oloye.
also, yeah, pushing away
Oye.
chief? Or...
Okay, Oye. See, in the Yoruba alphabet, there are two letters that look the same, but one has an accent under it, like 2 letters. One is A with no accent, last letter E in English is sound A in Yoruba. And the one that has accent under it becomes E, like yeah or yeah. Like letter O now. O is O, letter O, with an accent under it becomes O. See, Oye. Oye. O-Y-O-Y-A. It's different from Oye. Oye. O-Y-A. O-Y-A is another word that's different from O-Y-A. So there's Oye is a title. Oye. To give an Oye means to lift up. When you give somebody a title, you give them a status. You bring them up from the ordinary citizen to somebody who has a title. Orunmila, if Orunmila is the first to ever receive a title, the ones that everybody is doing anyhow now, they don't, I mean, because the heritage has been broken down. People think they are doing it just to, they are doing it to, it's not to uplift it. It's just to bastardize it. And that's my view. When the way people are doing it now, it's become just a market thing. People who doesn't understand what it means are doing it. But hey, that's life. Life is evolving. Life is moving on. It doesn't prevent anybody not to get to where they need to get to. We will continue moving on. Oh yeah. Oh yeah means to push aside, to put away, to put death down, to push away iku, which is the oyeku, to push death down. To death, I saw in one of the odus, if I said gogoji, 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 gogo, if I see that, I will fight death. Gogoji, gogoji, gogo. If I see sickness, I will fight him. Gogoji. That is how Eshu helped Orunmila to chase death away. When they want to marry the wife of Eledumare, this daughter of Eledumare, one of the daughter of Eledumare is prime for ready to be married, or that's gift, and nobody is going to marry her because they cannot. They said, the Eledumare said they can go and bring 201 skull of people. Whoever is going to marry, Ogun tried and cannot do it. Shango tried, they cannot do it. None of the deities can do it. Shango tried, they cannot do it because death will take it from them. When death comes, they run away. But Orunmila already went to find the secret, and Orunmila was to put just bell. Bell is what he tied up. That bell is like, he made the bell out of snail shells. So Orunmila offered snail shells and tied the snail shells together on a stick. And Eshu told him to stand at the junction of the earth and the spirit world, that when death is coming, because when death has promised that he's going to be the one that married Ore, because he's scared Ogun, he's scared Shango, Obaluaye, none of the deities, he scared them. So Orunmila himself says, I know there must be a way to overcome this. He has wisdom. So he went to Ifa. Ifa said to give to Eshu, give these snails to Eshu. Eshu said to tie the snails up on the stick. He's going to show Orunmila how frail death is. Eshu told Orunmila to stand at this specific spot, and then as soon as death is coming, to be singing and be pounding the ground with the stick. And the sound of the snails crushing, the shells crushing together, when death heard it, he was trembling. He just ran off. The skull that he has taken from Ogun, he has taken from Shokmana, Shango, that he was taking, he just dropped it. Because Orunmila does not know how he's going. He doesn't kill people. Ifa does not kill. It is all the other deities that kill. Orunmila actually fixed the earth. That is why when the guardians of Eledumare were, because people lie about him, and they were coming to take him back to the spirit world. When they met him, they found out Orunmila was actually fixing the earth. Atayeshe, he was fixing the earth, and the other deities were lying about him. And even Ejiogbe did. It came in Ejiogbe too, when it was to send the angels to come and bring him back, and they found out it was actually taking care of the earth, because at first Ejiogbe was fixing people without collecting anything. He was benevolent. He was doing it free, fixing the lame, fixing the eyes of people, that raising dead, doing it. And the other Awos are not happy because he's not collecting revenue. They are not making money. He was just fixing everything. So they went and reported that he's destroying the earth. God sent somebody to go and bring him, and then they found out that he was actually fixing the earth. And God sent him back and left him. So death is actually a very scared entity. It's a person who knows death. We will not know that, because when we know, we'll not be able to live to tell it. we're going away. Once the time we know it, we pray that we be old when we know it, and then because it's a natural thing that we must come to this earth and we would go someday. So once we got to know the wisdom of that Orunmila taught us about death, we will live a life in a simple way, in a way that does not bring problem to us, that can cause us unexpected death, and which will bring sadness to our people, or live a life where we will be sick and bring problem and uneasy life to our people or us, because the person who is sick they are going to be in pain. So I hope that answered that question. I always tend to go even further.
Yeah. So this might be a longer question,
Okay.
but it's talking about not wearing caps for Oyekumeji.
Yes.
But it's the end where the person has to do. It says that if it's done during their initiation, the person's head is not strong.
Yes.
And that they need to be, the prescription, they need to go to the junction and whatnot. But it says that the person is fae, so they're fairy. That's what.
Yes.
Can you explain
that? The fairy is talking about that same thing that I talk about, that having mates in the spirit world who can cause issues in one's life. A fae can never have a very easy life. The ways of this world will never be, a spirit of fae can never function properly, normally, according to our standards as humans. They will always be like, anything can happen where they work. When they're supposed to get paid now is when problem will happen and their money will be gone. They become poor again. They have children. When their children is about to become, even if they even grow old, they wouldn't. A fae will never grow old. They've already make a pact that when the day of my marriage, example, the day of the marriage is where they are going to die. They're going to cause misery for many people, for their parents, for their in the Odus, in many of the Odus. If I talk about the fae, a woman that is fae who says, "Oh, I'm never going to marry." Meanwhile, they are supposed to marry Orunmila. A fae must marry Orunmila because Orunmila is the husband of fae, husband of witches, husband of, or Orunmila is the husband of every energy on this earth. A person who is a fae, if it's a woman, they must marry. They must have Ifa. If they don't, they will never. They must have Ifa. They must do. If they don't do, they can never live
successful.
They won't. They won't.
So this is a petavi. This is the type of a petavi that needs to either marry, have Ifa, or marry a babalawo.
Or marry Ifa. Yeah, marry a babalawo. And then Ifa will be, because when you marry a babalawo every year, the Awo will be doing their Ifa, their ceremonies, and they will cast Ifa for the family. They will cast for the husband, the wife, and the children. And Ifa will reveal that this woman, you go and do this, and this for her because she's a fae. And if I exposes everything, say, "Oh, what about the dream you dreamed last night? You dreamt about this and that." And the person will say, "Yeah, I had this dream that this and this." If I will interpret it and says, "Okay, this is what you need to do with this Odu. If you do this and this problem will not exist." Yeah. A phase exists. It's not like it's a bad thing, but it's a bad thing if one is going to live a normal life. Some of the issues that we're having on this earth might be because we belong to a specific group of faiths who will not function properly on earth. It's getting dark. Anyways, any other questions?
Yeah, Baba Robo, yeah.
Yes. Abo Ibosise.
I know that Orunmila has a lot of praise names,
Yes.
in reference to death, being the one that averts death and the one that
Yes.
the one that death honors.
Yes.
Are there any praise names for Orunmila that have come from Oyekumeji?
Oyekumeji. Oyekumeji. He says, Obirikiti Akpojo Ikuda. He changed the date of death. Oyekumeji says, he fixed the Iworimeji, that one says, he fixed the head that is going bad. But that one Oyekumeji talked about Obirikiti, the round entity, because it's raw rounded. It's a rounded entity that changed the date of death. If death said, I'm going to take you today, Orunmila change it because we're able to catch up and make the offering. Death was coming and he could not even handle it. Death was afraid and said, look at what these people are eating. They are eating rocks because he cannot chew on it. And an entity that can chew this thing, how can I handle such an entity? Let me run away and leave the person alone. Obirikiti Akpojo Kuda. The one that changed the day of a person dying. Because the person will die on the day death comes to take it. But when death was coming in Oyekumeji, he ran back because he saw what the people are eating. They were discarding the pebbles inside the mashed yam that they offer to Eshu, and they're eating some. They ate some of the mashed yam and discarding the pebble ground after they give it to Eshu. They discard some pebble from the bowls in their hand, and death came and started picking up the pebbles to eat, and he realized, whoa, these guys they are too much. Can't handle it. Yeah. What other one? There's allow money be multi-party. Allow money be multi-party. I can't even interpret that. It talks about giving birth with difficulty, but Orunmila was able to make it happen because Oyekumeji, it helped people give birth. The mother who was giving birth, who does not want to have a child, but after her husband give the offerings of the python, they should turn the python into a live one and scared her. She ran off from her house to the crossroads and she gave birth there by herself. So allow money be multi-party, but interpretation, I don't know if I can do that. Anyways.
Baba, I know it's getting dark. I just have a quick question, and this is more so of everyday practice and offering to Orunmila. What can I offer to Orunmila, or should?
To Orunmila, what can you offer?
Mm-hmm.
What you can offer regarding if I take many things, if I take cola, if I take bitter cola, if I take gin, if I take honey, and where you use it to guinea fowl, takes a hen. If I takes pigeon, those are the blood offering. If I takes goat, if I takes tortoise, if I takes snails, if I takes water turtle, a turtle from the waters, if I takes fish, all different kind of fish. If I takes crocodile, many. Did you get that? Even the basic is cola. The minimum is cola. If I taste cola, you cast it, you leave the cola there. And you must do that regularly. Don't be afraid to pray to your Ifa. use the ashe to ask something from it and see it manifest. It always manifests. I have never asked Ifa for something and I don't receive it.
I
And when
guess.
things-
Sorry.
Go
Continue.
ahead.
I guess maybe in my Western mind I'm separating Olodumare and Orumila. So I know in terms of offering to Ifa from that perspective, but I guess
Yeah.
I haven't linked. Yeah, so thank you, Iya. So that anything
Yeah.
I offer to Ifa is synonymous to Urumila. So I was
Yeah.
separating. I was separating them.
See, this is it. We must do that. Separate them. Because Orunmila is the deity.
Mm-hmm.
Orunmila is the deity. I'm coming into the light. Orunmila is the Orunmila is the deity, but Ifa is a tool that was given to it, the palm kernel that was given to Orunmila. It was sent to Orunmila. Eledumare gave him that tool to be able to ask, use it as a tool for to ask things, or to be able to read things, to be able to, because Orunmila is literate. Out of all the deities, the only one that can write. He writes and marks through the markings. He'll be able to interpret it and it means something. He does not. That's why Aniawo of Ifa does not mount. The other ones can just mount and see things and talk. Orunmila doesn't see. He uses whatever is marking. He's always asking. He said, if you are not sure of something, you ask the earth. We ask the earth, okay, what is this? How about this? Because when we cast on the ground. It's like asking the earth, because we are on earth now. And you ask the earth, okay, how is this? What is this? How do I solve this? What does this mean? And if I would say it means this, this, and this, that's why there are so many stories. Orunmila is the deity. Ifa, Orunmila is the divinity. Ifa is the deity, is the tool. Ifa is the shrine of Orunmila. Did you get that?
Yes.
Yeah. Ifa is the actual shrine. Like with and it's the only shrine that talks. Ogun doesn't talk. The cowries is what you're going to cast to talk to Ogun. When you cast the kola, you accept or you don't accept, it gives you message there. But Ifa, we can actually pray to it and cast kola, we can still go to his tool and cast it to get deeper and even more message. Yeah. The markings have something. That's why we are studying it now. When we see the markings, like the way we cast with the Ikin, which we do in the forest of Odu, you hold all the Ikin, 16 of them in your hand. You beat it, and you grab it. If it remains one in your hand, you are going to mark 2 on the tray. If it remains 2 in your hand, you mark 1 on the tray. That is how we get the markings. And then when the whole markings are complete into 8, then you get the Odu. Which means to cast this or Yekumeji, you beat it. When you beat and you grab all the nuts, the palm nuts, the Ikins, and there is only one left in your hand, in your left hand, where all the Ikins are, you grab it with the first hand, then you're going to mark 2. You do it again. If there's 3, you are not going to mark. If anything dropped, you are not going to mark. You make sure they're all complete and you hold it all with the right hand, slap it and beat it. Ikin, we always beat the Ikin. It is the Olodu, the Aduso that we don't beat. That one sits, it makes the 17th and sit in front of you, and the rest of you, 16 of them, the remaining, when you count 16 and hold it in the hand, the rest stays in a bowl in front of you. You grab the 16 and beat it and grab it at once. Once you grab it, if there's 1 left, you mark 2. You grab it. If there's 2 left, you mark 1. Irosumeji is one that says, teach us how to cast. Irosumeji taught us how to cast. Once we do that, then, anyways, does that answer the question?
I'm good. Yes.
Okay.
I do pray, Baba.
I do quite
So, so many questions. I could just everything you say. I'm like, oh, I want to ask, but slow. Dear.
Yeah. But we still have a few more minutes.
So when you say that, do Omo Awo mount? Because I can tell you, like I experience, like not full, but just I remember specifically, like, energy very strong.
It will be the spirit of ancestors or the spirit of other deities that mount, that turns us into a mount. And now of Ifa does not mount. But we can use the spirit of Shango, spirit of Ogun, Oluaye, which is Okmono, a spirit of Oshun, spirit of all the other orishas. That's their medium, even including ancestors. That's their medium of expressing, telling us how we can reach them or giving us message. That's their medium. We become the medium. So they mount on that person's head. But if you are fully initiated into Ifa, you will not mount.
So when I came out of my initiation and I was receiving my Odu, like every time, at the same time when we were receiving it, I could barely sit still because I was being moved so physically. And
yeah. But the Awos must figure out which one of the Orishas is that, and then have you have that along with your Ifa so that they can walk in unison and you won't be mounting, but you will still help you. They will just send messages into your mind, and you will say the message to whoever you need to say it to without shaking or. You can have that as one of your orishas too, and be praying along with Ifa. But if you are initiated, you will not mount. Ifa will not allow it. Ifa sit on that head, and it will not allow you to mount. But you'll be able to see and express to people, this and that about their life or messages that comes to you without casting before you give. If no more, we will continue to Worimeji so that about how we help and wisdom for us through Orunmila, through Ifa, Worimeji, Olure. Iworimeji Olure Omagbere, you said it's a song that we sing for Iworimeji that says, Iworimeji, the owner of blessings, bring my blessings, return my blessings to me. Iworimeji, the owner of blessings. Please bring my blessings. Iworimeji Olure Omagbere Temi Bawa Iworimeji Olure. Wo máa gbére tèmi bọ̀ wá o, Iworimeji Olure o. Wo máa gbére tèmi bọ̀ wá o, Iworimeji Olure. Iworimeji Olure o. Wo máa gbére tèmi bọ̀ wá o, Iworimeji Olure. Wo máa gbére tèmi bọ̀ wá o. ìwòrì méjì olùrè o. Bó máa gbére tèmi bọ̀ wá o. Ìwòrì méjì olùrè. We sing for Ifa sometimes too. You must sing. Ifa wants us to sing when we're doing prayers. Any of the songs that you know of Ifa, you sing many, many, many songs, and that's part. You know, that's when we get the results that we ask Ifa. We ask Orunmila to do for us. We get it. Songs as well as incantations goes with the tradition, with the ways we appease. Anyways,
Baba, they sang that at my wife's itefa.
Yeah, you see. Ìwòrì méjì olùrè o. Bó máa gbére tèmi bọ̀ wá o. Ìwòrì méjì olùrè. I'm sure this is recorded. The song, we can hear it again and try and practice it and make it part of our repertoire of songs for Ifa. So when you listen to this again, try as much as possible to try and get it recorded and listen to it so that practice it so that it can become part of your songs for Ifa. I wish you all a pleasant week. I pray that all our blessings will reach us. I pray negativity will not find us. Sickness, death will far from us and family. That even as the whole earth, whole world is feeling the negativity that is weighing mountly on people, that it will not affect the children of Orunmila. It will not affect us. Because amongst the thorn and briars that the palm leaves shines and glows. We will continue to shine, we will continue to glow, we will continue to be guided and be protected against all negativity on earth. Ashe.
Ashe, Baba.
You have a lovely, lovely day. To Baba Ifashegun, the small package is on his way. Small package is on his way.
Thank you, Baba.
I think he's.
By the power of Eledumare, we'll be together. I look forward to being able to return in the summer. Bagbara Edumare.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Thank you. You have a lovely week.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Good to you.